Oh boy, here we go. Episode 12 of That's Unfortunate live show.
Yeah.
First and foremost, here with the full house. Actual 4 people.
Oh,
And we have a jam-packed episode. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Velvet, Jade, how y'all doing? What's going on?
doing great. It's been a great week. Can't complain.
All right. Jade, what about you? With the video video issues.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can't hear Velvet. Oh my god, I'm so sick of this. Look, you guys, I promise I'm trying to keep it together. I got myself a camera and I got a microphone. I got the whole shebang. But you know what I fucking failed to do? Get the correct computer setup. It's outdated. It's old. It's not doing anything. So I'm on my phone. I'm sorry for y'all. But I can't hear Velvet. So I'll probably have to refresh and come back again.
All right,
I'm
so
shit.
I was gonna say, so please excuse the black screen going in and out. We'll fix that. It'll be fixed.
Right.
But we have a special guest with us for this episode.
Ooh.
We have Iron Knee. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, appreciate you.
Oh, I get the Instagram name.
Yeah. Iron Knee.
Wow.
So Knee, tell us about yourself, man.
I'm a Vietnamese American. I was born in Vietnam. I came to the States of Georgia at the age of 4. Majority of my life, I was raised around, African Americans. And yeah, I am excited to be part of the show and discuss more about Stop Asian Hate and whatever other topics we have for today.
Yes, one of our highest forms of, I guess, gratitude that we give out on the show is a shout out. So we definitely want to shout you out. We want to shout out the Asian community and everything.
Sure.
I feel like I was saying this before the show that certain things are in the news and then sort of just drop off. But I feel like with things like this, these are things that we need to talk about as a community. We need to figure out a game plan on how to fix these issues. So it starts with these conversations and then goes on to the actions that we do down the road. So once again, shout out to you for being on the show, but then also being our first for us, you're our first random guest. I guess that none of us really have a
privilege.
Direct a relationship with. But I feel like this conversation is really important. So having you on is really important. I think we get Jade back. She popped up for a second, but shout out to you. Shout out to everyone that's watching live. We have Lemon Lime. So talking about shout outs. We have Lemon Lime on Twitch. One of our, this is week 2 having Lemon Lime in the chat. So appreciate you there. Of course, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and I don't know, where else do you guys want to see us? Let us know in the comments. Let us know, DM us on social media, and we'll try and figure out how to get us on Instagram live. Try to do Twitter. I think Twitter does live as well. But we'll figure it out. Where people want us, that's where we'll go. So let's do our last women's history segment. Velvet.
Hi, it's me. Ooh. So this week, we are talking about Britney Spears, who is, as we all know, she sings. I know she's 39.
I didn't even know she was still relevant. But hey, more power to her.
Yeah, she's been through a lot. We've been watching we've been watching her since she was young, so, and then seeing the whole issues with her dad and all that. It's crazy how when she had her mental breakdown and she shaved her head and everything like that, back then, that was weird, crazy. And now the amount of times I've thought about doing that myself seems so normal to me. So, shout out to her for being as strong as she is and having dealt with everything that she has, and still, doing what she has to do.
Hey, Jade.
Jade is back.
Welcome back.
Hi.
So Jade, what you got for Britney Spears, the icon? What you got? What do you have to say about Britney Spears, the legend?
Was Chris just talking to me? Oh my lord! Okay, you know what?
Mhm.
I'll be right back.
All right, so
I guess not.
I guess not. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. We have a couple things that we're going to talk about this week. Sort of like in our I guess our promo for the episode. Like, guess who's out here copying other companies? Can you guess?
Take a wild guess.
Can you take a wild guess?
Is it guess? It's guess.
Let's guess.
That was so corny.
That's copying. Wow. Okay.
So
There's some irony in that right there. There's some irony in that.
So Guess is copying a brand called Telfar, and if I've said it wrong, please correct me in the comments, please. So essentially, Telfar has this bag. It's white. It has a little handle, and then it has a big handle, and then it has their logo, which is just a T in a circle. So Guess over the weekend dropped literally the exact same bag, but with the G in the middle. So literally the same bag. So shout out to Black Twitter for doing what they do and calling them out on their BS, because literally after all the tweets and like people talking about it and all that other stuff, they stopped production and they're not selling the bag anymore. Honestly, they should have known not to do that to begin with, because
Right.
it's a big brand like Guess. And granted, Telfar is a big brand also, but I feel like Guess is a little more mainstream. But shout out to Black Twitter again for having that shut down real fast. Like, I mean days.
I mean, like, I'm gonna see if I can pull up a picture of like
The
what
bag.
happened.
Yeah, I want to see this. I really want to see this back. Like, what was the name of the?
Oh, I think I have it right here. Wait.
Let's see.
These are the two.
I want like a side by side. Wait, hold on. Are we showing it? Put it in our private chat, and I'll blow it up.
I can't.
Oh no.
Okay, I have what Shade Room has. You can kind of see it there. Oh, no, maybe not. It's just two white bags. One has a G and one has a T. Oh my god, my nails are disgusting.
All right, I found it.
Okay, cool, because
Let's see. Share screen.
it's literally the same bag.
Right. That's so crazy though.
All right, here we go. Bam.
Yes!
Oh my gosh, it's literally the same bag, but just with one's a T and one's a
Exactly!
T.
Like, did they think nobody would notice?
That's so crazy.
See, I see the similarities,
Right.
Don't
But-
give a fuck.
but I don't know. I feel like is this like the only design that this bag company is known for?
Telfar?
Yeah.
No. They
Yeah,
have like
is that-
lots of bags,
okay.
lots of styles, lots of colors. But and they have like
I don't know if it's just like how my mind works, but I don't see that as like a huge deal.
like if you go on their Instagram, they have the exact same type of bag but in like different colors and all that. And then they have like smaller bags and like, hats and other stuff. So Chris, it's the same bag.
Is it bad that
I mean,
is it bad that
I can't. I mean, like, if you show me the same bag, I would have been like, wow, like. Oh, question.
I don't know. I guess that's just
My buddy Will, he's trying to see if he
Yeah.
can join. Does he have access?
Oh,
to
let me
it?
see. Let's get him in. All right. Yo, what's going on, Will?
Oh,
My buddy.
How you guys doing?
Yes.
Oh, pretty good. Doing pretty good.
So, Nee?
Yes, good. Oh boy.
So we got Jade too. Here we go, full house.
Yay, we're all here.
What's popping?
I gotta change my.
All right, so we're in the middle of the news. How do you were you able to? Did you have a chance to hear what we're talking about with the guest copying Telfar with the bags?
Yeah, I heard a little bit. I kind of like the tea bag looked better. The
Yeah.
bag with the tea looks better. I don't mean the bag with the tea looks a lot. I don't know. You can see the difference. I don't know. Yeah, I guess just from the naked eye, the tea. I guess it's just the white. Look at that white. Like it's like good teeth.
I'm not gonna lie. The G one look a little dusty.
It does. I mean, but what is that like? Off eggshell?
No.
No.
One's like
I hear people say that. I'm like, oh, that's got to be a color.
That's new to me. I haven't heard that before. But
That's what bougie said.
It's eggshell, off eggshell, to eggshell. I'm kidding. That's not a thing.
Oh, not Chris.
But yeah, I guess. But is this like a thing? But is it a big enough reason for guests to actually stop their production of their own bags?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's a blatant copy.
Bro, that is a cop. Like
everybody can copy. It's okay.
This is that moment where it's like, all right, I'll let you copy my homework, but you have to change it just a little bit.
Yeah.
They could have added an extra strap then instead of just switching.
Yeah, or maybe like a stripe or something to go across there or something. I don't know the brand like that, but
man, they had to keep it G.
Thank you.
Copy guess or did guess copy Telfar?
No, Telfar's been had it since like years.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm with Lemon Lime right here. I think this is the same picture.
I'm good.
But yeah, so I mean, I guess that's a thing. So we could sort of move on. We as of like late, we've been talking a lot about this bill that just passed over this past week.
Mm-hmm.
When I say this is like the most like cheesy, the most like
Petty.
That's the word I was looking for. Like I understand like losing and then losing twice in these elections.
Twice. They lost several times, Chris.
But to go back and say, hey, we're gonna change the rules. We're gonna make it illegal to pass out water, pass out snacks.
That's the law. I mean, that's what got passed. Like you can't pass out water and snacks on the streets.
No, like if you're in line to vote, you can't. It's a crime to provide beverages to others who are in line to vote. It also disenfranchises most out-of-precinct voters, those casting provisional ballots inside their counties but outside their one assigned polling location. It shortens the period to request an absentee ballot. It prohibits government agencies from sending absentee ballot applications to voters. It requires that drop boxes are only available at early vote locations and accessible during voting hours. It creates shortfalls in county election budgets with unfunded mandates. It makes runoff elections near impossible to administer by holding them just 28 days after general elections. And it replaces the State Board of Election chairs with one chosen by lawmakers, not voters. But the water thing is so petty, let me tell you.
That is
mad.
Like, what if I'm thirsty trying to wait in line to vote? Like, what the hell? I can't drink water.
I think the entire purpose of it is pretty clear. It's all about diverting people from voting in general because they saw how much of a turnout it was this time around, and conservative values are losing a foothold in modern day democracy, and as it should. Because there is a thing called separation of church and state, and that should be all churches.
It's stupid.
No, they're petty. They lost, so they're like, hey, we're gonna change the rules. We're gonna pick up the money that's in free parking, and we're gonna cheat our way back into the office. So
and keep Georgia blue.
Well, I think it shows like what links. It shows several things, but two of them that stand out to me is it shows what links people are willing to do, especially conservatives are willing to do in order to sustain the foothold that they did have.
Right.
And two, it shows that like sometimes it's not really in the big things. Like while we should celebrate big achievements, we should also be paying very close attention to small government as well and to small changes as well, because those affect us on deeper levels than we can realize. Because, for instance, the war on drugs was not sudden. It was a slow move. It was like a disease. And that's what all movements are going to be. They're not going to be right in our faces. They're going to be small movements, like tiny changes to voter suppression, until eventually it discourages minorities from voting at all.
Yeah.
That's
a valid point.
Yeah, it's, JD, right. It's definitely something that is being they saw that how easy. I don't want to say it was easy, because there was a lot of work that went behind getting people to the polls, but they saw that how organized and like how we're able to get at these people to vote. I think that's what they're scared of. They're scared that more people are, the ease of making your vote matter is something that they thought that just, they had enough barriers into. So they saw how easy it was for them to lose twice.
I think it's something that we should also be paying very close attention to. I'm not sure if anybody like watches any other podcasts, but I'll have to post a link of a few that I've been watching they're usually left leaning. But it talks about like the similarities between the tactics that modern day conservative people are using to basically rebrand the Conservative Party, if that makes sense, because back then it was more so of a blatant outright racism. They weren't able to make small changes over time. So a lot of their leaders have been following a lot of doctrine that we used during the Civil Rights era, where it's not so much bold moves, it's tiny legs up in small government. And that's what they're doing. They're modeling it exactly after that, which is obviously was modeled by brilliant minds. Otherwise, we wouldn't have made the progress that we have been able to make. But on the flip side, they are rebranding conservative values in small places. And this is just lashback to the progress that we've made.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, I mean, I mean, this is something that we were talking about when we were trying to get more people to go back to vote or go to vote in the first place, was that, I think with the presidential election, like that election is so huge, people feel like their vote really like isn't doing anything. But I feel like this last election really showed that there is power in numbers.
Oh yeah.
And, I think, the opposite sides, they're afraid of that. They're afraid of seeing actual change. They're afraid to see the younger generation like as into politics as we are now. It's something like they've always had like these movements, rock the vote, go out and vote. But what we did in the past like couple of months, seeing all of like the blasts on social media, like this is the most I've seen about elections, like just like my whole lifetime.
Yeah.
We've never seen this type of, movement towards voting.
I think it's been really interesting for like, because I'm not sure what everybody else's age is, but from like a Gen Z perspective, every election I've been involved in has been groundbreaking for the world, pretty much. Like the first election that I was ever really witnessing and keeping up with was the Obama administration, the first 2 terms. But a simpler time. Anyway, that was like the turnout for that was incredible. But I think because the turnout was so incredible, people got lazy the first time around. And that's how we got his fucking orange ass in office in the first damn place.
2016 was a crazy year.
That taught all of us that we cannot slack off at all.
Yeah.
Hey, but do you guys remember all those texts we were getting from?
Oh my goodness!
Like goodness, like there were those memes saying that like, oh, if my girl texts me as much as to vote, like But I mean, I think that helped though,
Yeah, very.
It was annoying, but it definitely made a difference because I was getting calls from random numbers, and I was hoping there was a job interview or something, and I would pick up, and it's like, oh, have you voted for it? Are you the? I was like, hang on, but I was like, man, but it definitely got my attention because it made me vote, for sure, no lie.
Is I want to know, was there anybody else that's out here that went out and voted just so you could tell those people, hey, I don't want to hear it. I already voted.
Yeah.
Early voting. Yeah, early voting. I was like, yo, I did it already.
Getting those after I voted, and I was like, all right, I gotta block some of these people, just send stop or whatever. Because I was like, I'm still getting it.
I'm like, I just want to get my number.
It was a gamble between those calls and we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Oh my god!
It was one of those two, and I'm just so glad one of them ended because I was this close from just being like, you know what? Do I really even need a phone?
You know what's crazy? That's why I was gonna post this on my TikTok and I forgot to, but I paid for an app because I was so sick and tired of getting these calls. So now there's a database. So listen, all right. So it's an app where there's a database of all of these spam numbers. So as soon as my phone gets one of those phone calls from one of those numbers, for one, it automatically blocks it. But then it takes that call to a prank calling thing where I have one set up where it sounds like Samuel L. Jackson's talking to you. One with Ice-T is, he's pissed off that you keep bothering his phone and you're disrespecting him. And it's worth it. It was $40 for a year, and just listen. The amount of entertainment that I've gotten from hearing these spam callers getting trolled, to me, it's worth it. It's worth $40.
Oh my!
And of course, not getting the calls. I don't get the calls anymore. I don't get the calls or the texts. It filters all of them out.
You know what else?
That might have been worth it, honestly.
It's free to ignore everyone.
Exactly, Jade. Wait, Jade.
It's free to ignore everybody.
Exactly. I can't get the pointing right.
I haven't paid a single dime to not answer my phone. You better set up an appointment to FaceTime me. You have to set up an appointment to call. If you blatantly just call me, I find it disrespectful.
You're one of those? No.
Right? I just FaceTime.
Text me first and just be like, hey, can I call you? Give me time to prepare.
I agree.
I'm definitely the person that it doesn't matter who it is. If you're FaceTiming me, I'm gonna make a face. I'm like, why is this person calling me?
In the same breath, I'm also the person who will FaceTime you without warning.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. You do that a lot for someone who feels like that.
I mean, I don't know. The rules don't apply to me. I exist and it's everybody else's problem now.
Yeah, I'll make the face What's
Yeah.
up, Mom? What's up, Mama? How you doing, Mama?
All right, so let's jump into our I guess biggest story of this past week. And by biggest, I mean as more or less it's caused the most conversation to people that I've talked to, because of course this the bill that we just talked about, that's still important. Guest copy and Telfar, that's not really important, but this has caused so much discussion on Twitter, with me and with people at work.
Bring out the fur.
Huh?
Jay brought out the fur.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about Lil Nas.
All right, so we're talking about Lil Nas X and his newest single. I don't even have the name of the single in front of me. I feel bad, but
this the other day.
I don't know.
But I slipped up there. But
someone inform me, because I don't know what's going on. What's up with Nas X?
It's two parts. It's two parts.
Two parts. Part one. Part
Jade, I'll let you set this up. What's one of the things people are pissed off at?
So he dropped a new song, which nothing but love and respect for my president. But
I love her.
Basically, he dropped a new song, and the preface for the song was we're taught to regurgitate the things that make us authentic, to conform to a heteronormative environment or to conform to a Eurocentric environment. And him being neither one of those was rejected. But in his realm, it is accepted. You're allowed to be whoever you want. And at the beginning of it, there's like a serpent in the video, and it's obviously CGI'd, which it's still badass. It's colorful and creepy, which is my aesthetic. I love it, but that's not the point. Anyway, so he's like seduced by the serpent. He's judged in front of an entire crowd of people, which, I mean, it's obvious, like the poetry there. And then he's killed by the public, and as he's ascending to heaven, he basically falls down. Then he goes down a stripper pole, and he gives Satan a lap dance, which I just loved. But anyway, obviously conservatives are deeply offended about this because what about the children? But his responses to it have been grade A. And then he decided to drop a line. I can't exactly remember who he was collaborating with. This is part 2. It's a shoe, and there's a pentagram on the top of the shoe, and it's got a Bible verse on it. But basically, a lot of people are like offended by it. The price is they only made 666 of them.
Yeah,
it's $1,018.
And there's also a drop of human blood in each.
Yeah. And a lot of people are bothered by this.
At the same time, it's blood for me. It's the blood for me. I don't know about all that.
I agree.
Gamer boy Neckbeards bought girls bathwater. Get out of here, Steve. It's not like that's any different. No, I mean, tell me the difference. Y'all literally say that I'm going to consume the body of Christ.
No, honestly, like, everything is fine with me. I love it and I appreciate it.
I don't have any problem with it because the thing is like, if it's consenting people, like, I'm going to give my blood for this drop of, like, that's whatever. I don't really care. But at the end of the day, here is my only... I have a little bit of a controversy with it, but I don't want to get, like, caught up in the controversy. But...
Oh, I just hear static.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was here.
Can't hear you.
Hey, yeah, Jade. Leave and come back real quick. Oof.
We were messing with forces that are beyond us.
Hey, but did y'all see those? Somebody made a post about like some Chick-fil-A shoes. It's like, don't trip, I got you. They're like, don't trip, I got you. These are Chick-fil-A's.
Hold on. Hey, you gotta send that picture, bro. I want to see that picture now.
Like the same shoes, but they just made them white, and then they had like the Chick-fil-A on there.
Wait, hold on. Let's see if I can find that. Throw it up there.
That's hilarious, man. But that's crazy though. Like, honestly, I kind of want to watch the video now. I want to see the video now.
Hey, he was twerking on the devil.
Yeah. So I feel like, okay, I'll be honest. There's no problem with it for me. I just feel like people are like, oh, well, he made, okay.
Old Town Road for the kids.
Yeah, people are like, oh, he made Old Town Road to get the focus of the kids and blah, blah, blah. He's literally talking about lean and cheating on his girlfriend and then titties and shit on Old Town Road. So, like...
Damn, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's definitely some Old Town Road lyrics, and I'm like, whoa, hold up now.
Yeah, cheated on my baby, whatever, boobies and lean, and point is, he talks about it, and then I just feel like no. I just feel like people want to find a problem with everything, but there's nothing wrong.
All right, so my hot take on this is that I feel that he went to the extreme, but I think he intentionally went to the extreme to like just make his point.
Exactly.
So I feel like he made his point, and whether or not you really agree with it, like the artist's dream. Like the artists, they love to like take things and like put like double meanings behind a lot of things, and sometimes it's one of those things that sometimes it's either you get it or you're like, yo, what was this person thinking?
Exactly.
So
Man, he's chasing. He's
Yeah.
chasing clout. He hasn't been relevant since Old Town Road, and he's chasing clout. You know, I don't have a problem with the video or anything, but the man is just chasing clout. He wants some attention. He got a shoe deal. Right.
Well,
But I will say he did take it to the next level with blood. Though, why blood? You know what I'm saying? Like, why add that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like if it feels into it's the clout chase. It feels
that's kind of next level. Like, it's like physical blood. Like, I don't know.
I mean, like Jade said before she got cut off. But I mean, whoever gave out their blood and their drop of blood obviously consented to it, and it was like, yes, I'm okay with giving my blood for this shoe. So here you go. Well, I mean, I honestly don't find an issue with it. I'm not going to wear the shoe because, one, I can't afford it, and two, the blood thing is a little creepy to me. But, I mean, if people want to pay for it, if there's a market for it, go for it. Also, he's getting sued by Nike right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's the airplane, right?
The guy that he's doing the collab with
Mischief?
yeah.
Yeah.
And they put out like they put in angelic versions of this.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I just I feel
I
like
was
that's
like
a little too dark for me. You know what I mean? At least just for me. Like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with expressing yourself, like him dancing or what people doing, whatever, like craziness from the video, whatever. It's fine, but like you're promoting that it's okay to have blood on your shoe. I don't know. I just don't see. Like, I'm not saying like.
Oh, there was
Yeah, and then he had the Chick-fil-A. Like, no, 316. Oh, forgot.
Yo,
We need Jesus. We need Jesus in our life.
I don't know if you can see it. If you zoom in, the back says "My pleasure."
My pleasure.
That took me out. My pleasure.
Oh.
I'm gonna cop some of those though.
but no, it's funny. I'm gonna try and find the picture, but there's this is like the part 2. He actually put out like another shoe that's like the angelic version of this, where it's it's all white. It has where this shoe is red, it's blue, and then I think there's like I'm sure I forgot what Bible verse. It's literally the same thing, but just like a angel version of this. But like where were the people then when that shoe was made?
No, and not only that, but talking about where were the people at? Where were the people at when The Weeknd got a Kids' Choice Awards for a song about cocaine?
Wait, hold on. What? we're not gonna watch past this.
Okay, I Can't Feel My Face, the song by The Weeknd.
Yeah,
It's about cocaine. He won the Kids' Choice Award for it.
You can't put your face for cocaine.
I can't see that.
My thing is, people are like, "Oh, the kids, they can't be watching this. The children, blah blah blah." But I mean,
your kid's bad as hell.
Like, pay more attention to your kids if that's a problem. If you find issues,
filter parental controls, like
yes, like I don't remember who said it, but somebody was talking about like he did this intentionally. Like there was intention behind it. He did this because, people always talking about like, oh, gay people are going to go to hell. Well, here you go. Now he's going to hell metaphorically. Now you guys are upset again?
Yeah.
Like, come on now. And like, I do remember it was Nee who said that. He said, when he was talking about like, he has no issue with it, but it's weird to him. Like, that's fine. Like, at least at least you feel like there's not an issue with it. Like,
wait, hold on. Time up. But Buddy in the comments said they dropping the stimmy on the Chick-fil-A show.
I think ultimately holding a celebrity accountable for like raising your children. I think holding a celebrity accountable for how your children are raised is really weird to me. Like, maybe get off the internet if they can't see that. If they're not prepared to see that, they're not prepared for the rest of the internet because there's darker things on there than Lil Nas twerking on a CGI devil. And also, conservatives, what are you doing in that space anyway? Why are you watching him? We already know that he is a queer artist. We already know that he also in the show Lucifer, isn't there like a girl having sex with the devil? like on a regular basis. Like it's a whole ass TV show centered around it. But I guess it's okay when it's a white girl.
That's what I'm saying. Like people love to pick and choose what to be upset about.
Point that out.
It's like the same type of like level of like weird, I guess. Not that I think this is weird, but it's like the same type of like scenarios, but they pick and choose what to be upset about. Like,
what I was touching on earlier was
what's not, right? Yeah.
In satanic culture, it's not really a good thing to like have things at such a high price point because you're supposed to like be focused on community and focused on like making things more available to people. So it would make sense for satanic culture to not be involved in the high end culture as well. However, as somebody who does not conform to like Abrahamic religions, it's a breath of fresh air to finally see a different side of like high end fashion. Because I'm really sick of the white girl Kate Spade aesthetic. It's kind of worn out. It's just the diversity from the queer community, also pulling from the alternative side of the queer community is a really good mix. It's like, I'm sure for a lot of Black people who are in alternative spaces, it is really nice to see a Black man.
oh, it's sounding sad.
Yo, I feel like the enemy is like trying to stop you. Trying to hold back your
Like a conservative.
Like, no, Jay, you canceled. Like, you
no, they're trying to stop the truth from coming out. Hey, Jay, try it. Yeah, you're gonna have to leave and come back. All right, so while we're getting Jay back, I went ahead and found like the other shoe on the other foot.
Oh my God, Chris is on point tonight, yo. Chris is on point tonight.
Let's see, where is that? Here it is. Oh wait, wrong button. All right, so that's not the one.
Kind of
Hey, I'll rock those. I'm gonna lie, I'll rock those.
Those are cute.
They got blood in them too.
No blood. Actually, no. So no blood, but they have holy water.
Oh, they put holy water in it.
They put holy water in it
on these ones. And
so like the right foot is holy water and the left foot is blood.
Oof, man, I don't. See. So like, but that's. I feel like the shoe. Like there's creativity in that. So like seeing how he has like both sides, like I could appreciate that. Is it crazy? And would I be spending my whole stimmy on shoes like these? No. That's not gonna happen. That is not happening.
I appreciate the creativity behind it, like the idea, but the fact that it's real blood still, that's a no for me. That's a no for me. Like. Oh,
it's just if it was $50, then maybe. You know what I mean? But
oh no, not $50.
$50 anyways, though.
Who are they killing him $50? Because like everybody would feed it.
Goat. Goat blood.
So this is actually a conversation that me and Shayla had earlier today. So she pretty much doesn't really watch music videos on her YouTube channel or on her account, but for some reason, like that was like one of the like first things that popped up.
It's because it's trendy. When I go on my YouTube, I literally all I watch on YouTube is like Bad Bunny videos and like room hauls and shit like that. But whatever is most popular at the time still comes up at the top. It's because it's trendy. That's fine. But the people who don't agree with you could just
gotta look at it.
And BJ, no, I'm not spending my whole check.
BJ
on the stimmy. It's not happening.
Gotta be more responsible as an adult. You know.
Yeah, the stimmy went to bills. Yeah. It's already been spent.
Same. I got mine last Friday.
I'm still waiting. I'm waiting on mine, man.
Oh, still?
I'm still waiting.
All right, we got Jade back. Oh.
No.
All right. So I want Jade to like finish her thought on this whole situation, because I feel like the technology is being the hater tonight.
The conservatives, I'm telling you, they're
the government, they're monitoring all this,
Mm-hmm.
It's like free thinker. Like, no, we don't want that.
I keep on about like, all right, Jade's gonna come back in, and like I have to like throw her back into the stream before she just backs out. But while we're waiting on that, let's let's talk about how I guess we sort of talked about this before, but never mind. Jade's here. Jade, finish your thought.
We can hear you.
All right.
Go.
Basically, I was saying that it's really nice to see a Black queer man pivoting the unrepresented space for alternative people and Black people in the alternative community, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of like in the gaming community and in a lot of other communities that are dominated by Eurocentric standards. Black people are often excluded whenever they still like enjoy these spaces, and oftentimes were the main influencers of these spaces. So it's really nice to see like goth queer representation coming from a Black man.
Yeah, especially because I remember all through like high school and stuff, like people, especially people of color who were considered alternative, they were considered like trying to act white or whatever. That's not always the case.
For sure.
Yeah. But I do appreciate Lil Nas X for just him being a whole troll, because he's like 2 hours ago he tweeted, "I'm gonna put Kirk Franklin on the Call Me by Your Name remix to even it out."
Hey, I know Kirk Franklin will do it. I know.
I cannot.
I love him for everything that he stands for.
And
it's
then
just like, I don't know, as a queer person, it's nice to finally have representation that feels accurate.
Oh no.
It's cutting out.
Jade.
Shout out to me. Take the Wi-Fi and like stick it up in the air in the corner.
Say something. Maybe we can hear you now. No?
No.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our recommendations for the week. Yes. I'm going to start it off with our last women's history themed game, which for this week is, I almost said conviction. That's your thing. Control. Control is a game released by 505 Games. It released August 2019 and released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Actually, they put out a version on this for the Switch, which is like one of the cloud-based versions. Here's my recommendation: don't even just do that. Just play it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PC. But essentially, this is your, to me, feels like a spiritual successor to the game Alan Wake, which also had sort of like these darker themes. And this one sort of borrows that same aesthetic, where things like just don't seem the way like they seem, and you really, like it's a game that you really have to play. I don't want to give up too much for it, but it's a game that you definitely sort of want to go in blind and just, I guess, experience the story yourself. I'm not one to really play through story games like this. I usually get bored halfway through them, but this one actually kept my attention all the way through, and it's about a 15-20 hour game. So definitely check that out. It should be free to play still if you have PlayStation Plus.
It's free? Control. I gotta cop that today.
Yeah, if you have PlayStation, go ahead and catch that while it's still free.
I didn't know that game. Like, yeah, I'm not normally a solo player, but I would definitely play that.
See, for me, if I'm going to play a solo game, the story has to be like top notch. It has to be something that like I got to get hooked on. You know, I have to be at work thinking about this. Like, while I'm ringing someone, I'm like, wait a minute, no, wait. I totally should have what happens next. Right? Yeah, I want to know what happens next type of thing. Yeah,
like first Last of Us kind of.
Yes,
weak, man. I don't know. Like, that's
What?
Wait a minute. I'm down. Now you talking wild.
Last part
That's
of
right.
part 2 was, you know, like
Nah,
that's just 1 was the game, but part 2,
So what was all right? So real quick, what was it about 2 that didn't do it for you?
I mean, are we including spoilers or like I mean, for one, Joe died in like the first 30 minutes of the game. I didn't even play the game. I watched the walkthrough, but
Hey, listen, people die every day.
he's the main character. He's the
Every
main
day,
character. Like you really just killed the main character. Like he was nothing. Like everybody was just like,
It's a cruel world.
Like when Chris Brown died in Sunday.
wait, what? Hold on.
What was that?
I was pissed.
It was like starring Chris Brown, and he came out.
I went to go see Chris Brown, and he died 15 minutes in, and I was just like, okay, bet.
Like,
Yep, just like
the
that.
Hunger Games series. They kept Rue alive all the way up until the end, and then just not Rue, fucking Prim, and killed her all the way at the end. It's like, what was the point of all of this bullshit?
Anticlimactic.
All right, but that's our game recommendation of the week. Of course, if you want more gaming news, more gaming information, check out Should I Play That on Twitch on my main page, SSJ Blackrod. Well, twitch.tv/SSJ Blackrod. But next up, we got Velvet. Velvet, what's our movie recommendation of the week?
This week's movie recommendation, as we have been following throughout the month, Women's History Month. This is our last week, unfortunately, but here we are. So I ended the series with the movie called Conviction, starring Hilary Swank and Sam Rockwell. It's a movie based on a true story about a man who is wrongfully convicted of murder, having been close to his sister, which is Hilary Swank. She knew that he did not commit the crime, but like I said, he was wrongfully convicted. So in the time that he serves, she goes back to school, she becomes a lawyer, and she ends up proving his innocence and getting him out of jail. Obviously, this took many years, but she did it. So if you enjoyed movies like Erin Brockovich and My Cousin Vinny, who also have very strong woman roles, so check those out also. This is definitely the type of movie for you. I rated it 8 out of 10, and you can find it on YouTube and Amazon Prime. I think you have to pay for it on Prime, though. But, I mean, it's worth it. It's $4. Come on now. That's my movie recommendation for the week.
What was the name of it again?
Conviction.
Conviction.
is it better than Legally Blonde?
Huh?
Better than Legally Blonde?
Two different genres. I think.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Genres,
Like,
I mean, it's a strong woman, like,
more kind of serious. More like,
you know.
Dang, that's right. Marvel kept Iron Man alive until the end of Endgame.
Wow. I guess
Oh.
that's a spoiler anymore.
So those oh yeah, those wounds are so fresh. Those wounds are so fresh.
That's just tough.
All right, so
it's been 2 years.
we're gonna try it. Yeah, so real quick, while we're trying to get Jade back, I actually got my girlfriend to go through the Marvel movies, like all the way through, and she essentially, like, that hurt that we felt like a year ago or 2 years ago. Like, that was her, like, a couple months ago when she finally watched it. And when I say, like, she was hurt, I was like, yeah, that was us, like, a year ago at that point.
Yeah, imagine the years building up to it, though. Like,
Exactly. 10 years.
Hurt.
sucked. So I didn't watch Endgame, and I watched Spider-Man. What was the one?
Far From Home.
Yes, I saw that one before I saw Endgame.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fucked it up for me. But I also kind of already put 2 and 2 together with all the memes and stuff. Like, there was literally no spoilers, but I kind of like just put it together. But then when I saw it, it was confirmation. I was like, oh shit. So then when I
It still
finally,
hits.
yeah, it did. When I finally saw Endgame, though, like, it still hurt, but it wasn't as, like, I feel like it would have been had I actually seen it the right way.
Yeah.
And I also feel like that's one thing about, living during COVID, because we're still going through it, but like watching, like having these movie experiences at a movie theater. If you guys follow me on Facebook, like I shared a video of someone that had like the audio of them at the theaters when Endgame like first launched, and just hearing like the crowd cheer when Captain America like shows up with the hammer.
Oh yeah, dude, that was crazy. I remember hearing that too. Like,
yeah, so like it's a whole experience, and honestly, like it's enough to sort of get me back in the theaters. So once these Marvel movies start dropping again, like I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be in the theaters, and hopefully by then I'll have my vaccine shots.
right.
Won't have to worry about it.
Just confirmed for like this summer, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's coming out soon.
Yeah, like I'm gonna see that in the theater. Disney, you're not getting $30 from me to watch a Black Widow movie at home. I refuse to. No, that's not happening.
That's crazy.
The subscription, right?
So you have to pay for the subscription and you have to pay to see the movie.
Exactly. Yeah. So as long as people continue not buying those, they'll eventually stop doing that because they'll realize that it's not working. Nobody wants.
The thing is, people are still gonna buy it though. That's the problem. Like as long as it's like available, people are still gonna buy it. Like
as long as we keep that to a minimum, because I don't want to do that either.
Please, because I know people was buying Ray of the Last Dragon. I was like,
I still haven't seen that.
I saw it, but I didn't, pay for it at Disney.
Since you have friends,
you watched the screener, right?
Yeah,
you watched the screener. Yeah. All right, I think we got Jade back. Hey, what's up, Jade?
Hey, Jade.
No.
No.
Can
you hear us?
Okay. Bye. So, for the sake of time, this is what we'll do. We're gonna go ahead. Oh wait,
we can
hear you.
Yeah, you're
I don't think she can hear us.
Me? Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna give my music recommendation.
Yes, that.
And then I'm gonna refresh this motherfucker and come right back. All right.
Period.
My music recommendation. Her given name is Sarah Grace McLaughlin, which that's the same name as that fucking lady who makes me cry with those stupid fucking dogs. Anyway,
the arms of the angel.
That's not the bitch I'm talking about. This girl, her stage name, for good reasoning. I mean, you don't want to be Sarah McLaughlin. Is Bishop Briggs. And the song is called Someone Else. She is a British-American singer/songwriter. She's 28 years old, and her focus is on empowerment and self-reflection. She has alternative rock, like indie pop. It's the first live concert I ever went to. I met her drunk as shit in the side of the exit waiting on her to come out, but it was super fun because I still remember the encounter and I have the pictures. But she's a lovely woman, super liberated, and 10 out of 10 recommend all of her music. Because she has had offers to work with larger production, but she kind of focuses on more indie and upcoming artists to have a little bit more inclusion in her brand. So I really appreciate that. And you could probably recognize her from that song River, but nobody ever recognizes the name. But yeah, that's Bishop Briggs. I'll be right back, maybe.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into our main topic. Once again, shout out to Iron Knee and shout out to Daryl Thomas Jack. What's
done with it, but I just kind of, shouldn't have put the IG colon and, it's my first time.
You want to be different.
It's all good. But thank you for joining us for this conversation about, stopping Asian hate. We said this at the top of the show. We feel that these conversations need to happen, not only regularly, but we need to not only talk about this. We actually have to make actions too. So we're gonna get into all of that. But there's we have a couple of questions just sort of that we wanted to ask you, Nee, about just overall what's happening, how do you feel, and of course just we feel about how we give our experiences on the show. We don't feel like we're the monolith. I'm not a monolith for Black people. That's something that I feel like no one person should sort of be that person. There's so many different types of Black people, Asian people, white people. We can't really set things in stone as this is a different way, but it's still good to hear people's experiences, and you should never denounce people's experiences. So, Velvet.
Yes.
You want to go ahead and start off with you? What you got for us?
My first question is, do you feel as if the hate crimes on the Asian community started to rise when COVID first broke out? especially because of the derogatory terms the president, I'm not going to say them, but that the president was using back then. Do you feel like that's where it kind of like, right, like went up the most?
Honestly, I don't know for a fact, but I definitely did, like, as an Asian American, I definitely did notice, like people, like, kind of, like, making faces, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in public, or, like, when I was, like, you know, just going to, like, grocery stores or something like that, like, people would kind of, like, you know, like, keep their distance, or, like, kind of, like, make faces. And, you know, one time I remember I took my mom to, like, the doctors, and, you know, like, everybody just looked at her like crazy, and I was just like, you know, we're here for, like, a checkup for my mom, but, like, you know, why y'all treating her like, you know, she's like a virus or whatever?
Yeah.
So I definitely did experience, like, some, you know, racism or whatever. And I've heard remarks, you know what I'm saying? I've heard remarks where people have been like, oh, watch out, you know, there's a, you know, an Asian in the room or whatever. And, I mean, I think it's idiotic and it's petty, because it's like some of those same people are the ones that are not wearing masks, you know?
Exactly.
And I think that's so stupid, because it's like, you guys are so ignorant, but you guys are doing the same dumb shit that's not helping the cause.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fact is that they're not really acknowledging the existence of the virus at all. It's a blatant outlet for their xenophobia.
Right.
They have something to blame it on at that point.
The scapegoat, essentially. Yeah. I remember seeing a lot of, like, memes and stuff. Well, not that they were funny, because they were racist, but, you know, with just targeting Asian people and then making fun of, like, you know, because of the whole, like, bat video or whatever. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
So unnecessary. But okay, so my second question is, how have you seen your friends and family react, like, kind of in response to the rise of the hate crimes? Like, oh god, like, for example, I know, like, as a Hispanic person, like, if we see some type of, like, if we see something like involving ICE or something, we let our family know. Or
Right.
how with police brutality, you know, people of color kind of have, like, a set of rules, like, if you're stopped by the police or something like that. So, like, do you guys have, like, or have you and your family, friends, like, talked about some type of, like, I guess, I don't know what I'm
Like,
saying.
strategy behind it. So I mean, like, for me, especially because my dad literally turned 73 a couple days ago on the 25th. You know what I'm saying? So he's pushing. You know, man's going strong. Like,
Yeah.
but you know, and I tell him this all the time. Like, you know, I was like, Dad, if you go to, like, the grocery store, if you go grocery shopping, or you go pump gas, whatever, let me go with you, or let me do that for you, just because you are a high target right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, you know, how crazy it is out there, but, like, I'd rather not risk that. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, because, you know, my dad, he's not like super, like, you know, athletic, like, at his age anymore. Like, he's still, you know, mobile, and he's still able to, like, do things. But, you know, if something was to pop off, like, you know, he's not going to be the first one to be able to run or outrun someone, you know?
Yeah. You would be able to handle the situation better than.
Right, yeah. And I would be able to, you know, his vision's not vision and hearing is not what it used to be either. You know what I'm saying? He wears glasses. His hearing's really bad. But yeah, I mean, it does, like, make me feel some type of way, just because it's like, now, like my dad can't even feel safe in public. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, of this current situation. And, you know, in terms of, like, my friends, like, you know, like you've seen, like, the hashtag, like, Stop Asian Hate. Like, I've been seeing more and more people, like, raise awareness about it, like, on, like, you know, social media, on IG. People are, like, starting to do protests and stuff like that. But I was talking to, like, you know, Will about it, like, the other day. It's like, you know, with that being said, like, we're not, like, going to undermine, like, Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to sit here and just be like, oh, well, you know, the black people are, like, you know, at fault for this, or, you know, or whatever, or like point to a specific race or whatever, because that's not helping the cause either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or, like, that's undermining another cause, because it's like, hey, you know, people are being oppressed. There are hate crimes and like that, but in order for that to, like, you know, change, we all have to come together and, like, make it, like, try to work together to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I think just, like, even with this podcast, just raising awareness and just, like, you know, talking about it definitely, you know, brings it about, and, like, we come to, like, solutions and outcomes to, like, you know, better, like, our future and, like, you know, going forward.
Speaking of raising awareness, How would you like to see people in power responding to the racial tension surrounding the Asian community?
I'm actually surprised that, I mean, it's not as big as it should be. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really seen too much about it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really seen any like big celebrities, like, you know, I mean, aside from Asian celebrities, but like, you know, celebrities of, I mean, Damian Leonard, like he wore like a Stop Asian Hate like jersey. I saw that a couple days ago. He's a basketball player. But other than that, like I haven't really seen too much. Like, and I'm kind of surprised that like, you know, it hasn't been a big topic or like something that should, you know, that should get recognition as it should, you know. So
yeah. And that kind of like boils down to my second question, because like obviously suppression of Asian lives is like not a stranger in American history. I mean, we have to think about the Japanese concentration camps that happened during World War II, the outright like attacks that continued to happen long after, people's houses being vandalized, very similar to the Jewish community in Nazi Germany. How do you think that the limited discussion has resulted in the normalization of xenophobia? Because it doesn't seem like it's touched on that much in American history. Not something that I really learned about.
Yeah, and I think that's like a thing that like unless you're either Asian or you know about Asian culture, you wouldn't know too much about. Like just like, you know, even like during like slavery times, right? Like there were Asian slaves that were working on the railroads, but a lot of people don't know that unless they know like, you know, actual history or they know like about the culture itself. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's something that's been kind of like undermined and overlooked, and now it's starting to like kind of rise about just because of with everything going on, and like now there's more hate crimes, and now people like, you know, now Asians are willing to speak up because, you know, growing up like we didn't really like as an Asian American like I mean aside from like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Jet Li, you didn't really have a lot of Asian role models to look like forward to, you know what I'm saying? And even now, like, I mean, you know, there's starting to be more rise in like Asian actors and Asian, like, you know, celebrities or in sports or whatever the case may be. But even then, there's still a small percentage versus like, you know, everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So it is tough, but you know, I'm hoping like things will change in the future.
I kind of think the Asian community needs that one like, you know, like leader, you know, for this. You know, somebody has to step up and like, you know, take this on and let people know. You know, I feel like they don't really have like, you know, like throughout history there hasn't been like, you know, a Asian person to come up and, you know, and
speak out. Right.
Speak out on their issues. You know, I think people like now, due to the, you know, recent hate crimes, I'm starting to see at least a lot more people, you know, acknowledge it. But like, you know, I've been like, you know, I pretty much grew up around Asians. Like I grew up Asian pretty much, you know, so and I've never seen anybody kind of like, you know, acknowledge the stereotypes or, you know, talk about the, you know, what's going on. Because Asians has always been called names, you know, they've always been called these derogatory names and made fun of, even since you're a kid, you know, you don't even know, but, and then especially like they call every Asian Chinese and, you know, things of that sort, you know, since you're growing up. Yeah, you know, so it's just like, I think they just need, you know, somebody in the community kind of like, you know, stand up and speak out, you know.
I was gonna say, Will, like, what's it like? Because like for majority of us on the show, I think we have an East Coast experience, you know, seeing things. What's it like on the West Coast with like just where the movement sort of heading? Like I know you said that it really isn't like a celebrity that's out there like on the forefront, but just like from your day to day, what's it like, you know, on the West Coast?
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of people are a little more scared to go out. One of the things that I guess I kind of want to say that's confusing me is I mean, all the hate crimes are bad, but the minority versus minority stuff is kind of confusing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I'm just like, I'm not understanding of what's going on there, you know, but yeah, on the West Coast, it's, you know, where I stay, you know, it's a lot of like, you know, everybody's pretty much Asian and, you know, where I live. So it's, you know, I can tell people are kind of scared, you know, even of me as I walk out, you know, people are kind of worried if, you know, if I'm up to, you know, no good due to, you know, people are, you know, jumping, you know, or beating up older people and things of that sort. So it's like, I'm sorry about that. So, yeah, it's just, it's a weird time, you know, it's in a, Weird time.
I think it's important to like also remind people that it's hard to pick out one specific person to be a leader of a revolution, if that makes sense, or a leader of a movement, because a lot like with, I can only really speak on my experiences as an LGBT individual, but not having a lot of representation creates like a centric form of how someone is supposed to perform. Whenever there is no one type of queer person, there's no one type of minority, there's no one type of Asian person, which is why you can't just have one person being a representative of the community. You need Asian actors, you need Asian musicians, you need Asian politicians, you need a community of Asian people to kind of lead a movement, just like we've had to have a community of people of color to lead a movement for the Black Lives Matter movement. What it boils down to is realizing that there isn't just one type of person. So like having the diversity is going to humanize a movement a lot more. So that way people can actually realize that there are distinctions in between their lives. These are individuals. These are people who have goals and aspirations just like everyone else. And it'll be easier to unify rather than to hold an expectation.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I mean, again, just like to reiterate this is like, I don't want like someone like, let's say like Will, like to feel like, okay, well now like there's certain Asians like, like elder Asians or like, Asians that are ignorant to like the situation. They look at like African Americans or blacks like a certain way. They're like, oh, well, we can't associate or be around those type of people because we might get hurt or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And
they kind of always have in a sense, like the elders have kind of, it's been a little bit of. Yeah,
it's been a little different, right? It's been a difference because I'm pretty sure, like, as a African American male, you probably have gotten certain looks from like, Asian Americans or like, elder Asians just because, you fit a certain criteria or whatever. And, I don't believe that's right as well, you know what I'm saying? Or, for any race for that matter, you know what I'm saying? Like if, someone just saw like one Pacific person, they're like, oh, well, we got to stay away from that person because he might be crazy or whatever, or, whatever the case may be. Like, I don't think that's right as well either, you know what I'm saying? Because that's only causing more hate and more division, you know what I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a time and place to bring it up as well. But in that same breath, what it boils down to is like, I've found that when one minority is putting another minority down, it's more so of, it's not that they truly believe these things. It's more of like, who else is lower than you for you to distract from actual assailant? And the sooner that we turn around and realize that the actual assailant is white, male, misogynistic, like perpetuative culture, then we'll all be able to break free from that like suppression. But it does suck to watch us fight amongst each other about it. Of, well, yeah, the boot is on your neck, but the boot is on my neck even worse. And instead of turning around and saying, why in the fuck is the boot on our neck in the first place?
Yeah, it's like a competition. Like, not to take away from the situation, but, speaking of, minority versus minority, like I remember when Black Lives Matter was a thing and last summer when it was really, really big, and there was a lot of posts just talking about like that Hispanics, like they didn't feel the need to help because Black people didn't help with their situation as far as like, the kids being kept in cages and like with ICE and all that stuff. And I'm just like Jade said, it's not a competition of who has it worse. Once we realize that we all have it pretty bad and we can all like combat it together, that's where we can form some type of something to make it better for all of us instead of, competing and having this back and forth stuff with people that need to educate themselves. Yeah. And that's why they think like that, because they're not educated enough to see what's going on.
It's really hard to think that they're not educated though, because like I can't think of that. That's the thing. It's not that I think that these people are educated, but they're actively choosing to believe the things that they believe in.
They're all things that are taught.
Yeah, in 2021, how are you blind to this? You have the entire world at your fingertips. You are able to learn about all of these things.
It's the reality that they allow themselves to be part of.
Well, they're
It's
dedicated to misunderstanding, because if they
it's
do
based on
understand,
I
they're
think
gonna.
it's community though, like the community that they surround themselves in. Like
Right,
there
right.
there are a lot of
Definitely.
there are a lot of people who like I've heard like, and it's crazy even hearing this like to this day, where I would hear white people tell me that they would be in church, and in church they would hear like the most racist things they've ever heard.
I don't
You
think
know,
it's too wild. It kind of makes sense. When
but I mean, what I'm getting at is that like when you're in a group and you're in a group of people that you sort of respect and they're spouting bullshit, it's hard for people to sort of like, I guess, sort of break free from that. Not saying that it's right. I'm not defending it whatsoever, but I'm just saying that's sort of the mindset that they have, is that they're sort of trapped in thinking this way because they hear it so much. They hear it. They start seeing. They start connecting the dots, and to them, like that's the reality. That's the reality they accepted.
That's why they're not educated, because like they stick to that one situation and that one
ignorant.
It's not even the thing is that I'm trying to explain is that they are educated on it, but the reason why they're actively choosing to continue to perpetuate this behavior is because if they acknowledge that they were wrong, they've spent their entire life making decisions off of this process. They've judged people. They've hurt people. They've pushed this idea onto children. They've pushed this idea onto family, decided relationships based off of this ideal system. And if 28 years into their life, 30 years into their life, and they have to realize that, okay, this was wrong, they're pretty much saying that their entire life amounted to nothing, or that their entire life was built on like bullshit, pretty much. That's a lot of guilt. That's a lot of like feeling for someone to like take on. So it's easier for them to just ignore it altogether and just to like cling to something like a religion says so, or tradition says so, or my family says so, and continue to spout the bullshit because it's what they know already.
I don't know. I feel like if you have that in your heart, like if you know the truth and you're just holding it in your heart, that's gonna hurt even more than letting it out. That's like not forgiving somebody.
Name a Republican that looks happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
no, don't even try, Chris.
Nah.
Like, name a Republican that genuinely has solid grounding in their argument that looks happy.
Okay, because I was gonna say Sarah Palin looked happy, but she also was pretty dumb too. So
Yeah.
I'm sure Ted Bundy also looked happy a couple times too. But like, I'm saying genuinely looks like they're proud of the movement.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they all look like. Do you know those little on Codename Kids Next Door? Those blonde with the blue eyes, soulless.
Yeah. The group, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Like you look like how Ben Shapiro's wife probably feels. Like, I mean, come on. Like, they're usually all very angry, very upset, or very like just committed to upholding something that they only understand because it's all that they know.
I just feel like but this is my thought process as someone who is not like that. It's just like I rather like accept the fact that I was wrong or something in a situation and fix that than to like, for example, Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg, when he was young, like, y'all, I'm from Boston. Boston is a very racist city, and I'm very honest about that.
Oh, and, yeah, I know. My was there.
Yeah, okay. So it's definitely very, very racist. And so Mark Wahlberg is from Boston, and he had a situation when he was younger that dealt with an older Asian man, and then he ended up apologizing for it, and now he's completely switched his life around. I'm assuming. And I mean, I just feel like, see, there's instances like that where you can like accept the fact that you were wrong because of the people that you grew up with and the people that you surrounded yourself with when you were younger, and then like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I've seen those situations, but at one point, whenever you become famous, climbing up that ladder,
he apologized before he became famous.
Okay, well, that's different. But like, once you've climbed up that ladder, you've bumped elbows with enough people because creative environments usually are only sustained through diversity. Because I mean, you're not gonna get soul music out of mayonnaise.
Right.
But like, if you're gonna
So me was man, I'm dead. That
I
was
mean,
great.
if after you've got your platform, you're still gonna make comments like that and still have behaviors like that, and then you apologize. You're apologizing because it affects your bank account. No matter what, nobody's gonna feel like it's genuine.
Yes.
So eat shit and die, racist pig.
So, you know, something that we like doing on the show is, you know, when we have these conversations about things like this, these important conversations, we can sit here and like talk about, you know, these things until our face turn blue, or like in my case, purple.
Oh my
I don't
god.
think it'll turn blue, but you know, we could talk about it, but like, what are things that we can do to start, you know, advancing, you know, this movement of, you know, stopping this, you know, this Asian hate.
Fire up the guillotines.
Bring the cavalry.
Wild one. It all starts within, though. It all starts
within. And I think the honest answer, like, I mean, when it comes down to it, is just love. You know what I'm saying? You got to love on other people like you love on yourself. And
you got to love yourself first, you know.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you have to love yourself as well, too. You know, like, I mean, like I said, like, you know, I said this earlier in the show, too, is like, I was raised, like, in a predominantly black, you know, culture, like, area. You know what I'm saying? And I've experienced bullying, like, in the black community. I experienced bullying in the white community. I experienced bullying in the Asian community. You know what I'm saying? Like, in all aspects. Like, because, like, when I was, you know, having, like, a certain way of dressing, I would sag my pants, or I would dress a certain way. Like, the Asian community didn't accept me. They were like, well, why are you trying to be black? Why are you trying to be ghetto, trying to be like that? But when I went to, like, I transferred to, like, a, you know, semi-white, semi-black school, all the white people said the same thing. It was like, why are you trying to be, you know, black, blah, blah, blah. And then even, like, in the Asian community, I wasn't getting, like, you know, any love either, because they were just like, you know, why are you the certain way, blah, blah, blah. But it was just kind of like the environment that I grew up in. But then it's also, I'm thankful for it, too, because it's like, it helped me diversify and understand, like, I do appreciate soul food. I do appreciate, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate rap. Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like, I mean, even though I'm saying, like, one of my exes was black, you know, a couple of my exes were black, you know what I'm saying? And like, and even now, like, I'm still like into like different cultures. Like, I love Indian food. I love, you know what I'm saying, Mediterranean food. I enjoy traveling, and I think like one of the things about me is like I just love culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's from any race or any person of different background, like, it helps me educate me and learn something new about like another culture, like whether it be food, music, you know, dancing, their fashion, their way of life, you know, and I think that's another way to kind of like, as a part of solution, is just to explore and like see different cultures. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you limit yourself to one culture, you'll never be educated. You'll always be just focused on one linear thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I don't get how some people are like, oh well, I only date, you know, a certain race, or I only, you know, choose, you know, whatever to, you know, because like, why limit yourself? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So
same.
Yeah.
Felt. I relate to that very deeply because that's very frustrating. Because it's, I should have pointed it that way. That's very frustrating because like when people are like, "Oh, I don't date black men." What do black men look like? Is there one type of black man? What does the black man look like? Please tell me.
Exactly.
But it also like to kind of like jump off of that. I think something that would really help, and I'm speaking to you, fellow Caucasians. It would, the same energy that we're applying to other movements, we should be applying to all minorities. The Asian community, the Latina community, the Black community, LGBT, you know, take your platform and like stand up for somebody, because we did not create this environment. We did not create this hierarchy in which minorities are not able to have an opportunity to live that they deserve. So you should do your job and fix whatever your ancestors like created, because we're tired. We're tired as fuck. We've been tired.
So real quick, to jump off of like the whole ancestors argument, because that's an argument that some people have. Some people will hit you the argument, well, you know, my ancestors were on this continent this whole time and they didn't do any of this. So all right, so I understand that is a flaw in that conversation, but what's in the now is what's happening now and what you're doing now and how you're treating people. So like I'll agree with that standpoint. Fuck what what your ancestors did, like what happened. Like you had no say so in what your ancestors did. Okay, but you have say so in what you could do today to help out these communities.
And if you're still living in it and benefiting from it, then you're a part of it, baby doll. You are the ancestors. You are the colonizer, love. So like fix it. Like I mean, or don't, and you can just die on the wrong side of history. But like who wants to do that? That's like so 2000s.
So I wanted to ask, like, what if people wanted to donate? You know, there's a ton of resources out there, but like, are there any specific resources that you have specifically that you would recommend to people that wanted to donate?
Off the top of my head, I don't, but I know there are like plenty. Like if you just go on like IG and just like hashtag Stop Asian Hate, you'll see a bunch of like posts here and there. There's GoFundMe's for some of like the older grandmas that were like assaulted or whatever and like beat up or whatever. There's some of like GoFundMe for some of like the families for the recent Atlanta shooting because some people lost their moms or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? Like just show your support in like any way you can, or just like bring awareness to that, and just like as a person who like has older Asian parents, just be cautious. You know what I'm saying? Like if your parents are older, or if you're Asian or you're whatever race you're, just be careful out there in like the streets. Like be mindful of your surroundings. Whether you're a woman, a man, whatever, you're by yourself. Just pay attention to what's going on around you. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful, be attentive. Because you never know what can happen. You know what I'm saying? You never know what people's intentions are. You never know what somebody might just be having a bad day and just like, hey, I just want to go bring a gun out and drink and just start shooting people. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. Like, and I pray that doesn't happen. But it's just one of those things where you just gotta be mindful of, and that's just the world we live in right now. The only thing we can really do is just try to be cautious of it, be mindful of it, and just like spread love and raise awareness towards it.
All right, that's pretty solid. We'll try and get some of these resources, have them in the description, have them in these posts that are tied along to these conversations. But like I said at the top of this, let's not stop talking about it. Let's keep the conversation going. Talk about this on social media. Make sure you're using the right tags to join in that conversation. Because this won't stop until we decide to take action to make it to stop.
It's all about that action.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and roll out the red carpet to our guest, Will. What you got to shout out? Anything that you're working on? Anything you want to shout out to the people?
I guess we could. First off, my Instagram isn't completely there, so it's Daryl Thomas Jackson, so at the SON. But yeah, shout out to just I guess all of this. Shout out to the 4 Agreements, the book, The 4 Agreements. I'll tell you guys the 4 agreements. The first one is be impeccable with your words. The second one is don't make assumptions. It might be out of order. The second one is do not make assumptions. The third one is what's the third one?
Anything personal.
Yeah, don't take things personal. That's actually the second one. Don't take things personal. And then the last one is do your best. So try do your best to live your life like that, and be positive. Also, I got some I make beats. So y'all wanna hear some music?
His mixtape coming out soon.
I positive affirmations. I got my positive affirmations that I like to say. So follow me on Instagram. You see affirmations. Do yoga every day as well.
Good stuff. Yeah. I tried yoga. Like
intense,
talking about like quarantining. Like when we did all the quarantine stuff last year, most of us tried yoga. At least attempted it. I bought a yoga mat. Where that yoga mat is now, I can't tell you. I have no idea what that. The other day I honestly looked for it. That thing is gone. The thing is lost in the void.
Chris.
Cannot find it.
How?
I don't know. But once I find my mat, I'll jump back to
baby steps. Just start
baby steps.
10-minute yoga here, there, then pick it up to 30, then an hour, and then you'll be flexible.
That's intense. But Nee, what you got for us? What you want to shout out?
I just want to shout out to everybody here. Appreciate you guys having me on the show. Continue to just spread love. Hashtag Stop Asian Hate. Follow my IG for music. I try to keep random posts about Atlanta or when I travel. And yeah, man, just continue to just live and try to be better each and every day. You know what I'm saying? Self-development. Be better for the community, the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be your friends, your family, whoever it be. And 2021, we're trying to be better. We're trying to elevate. We're trying to grow. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it comes down to.
Yep. Can't be as bad as 2020. Am I right?
I don't want to say that, but
2020 big brother.
Year for me. But
I say that as the alien overlords are moving over our heads.
It could get worse. That would honestly be better. I think that we need to be under new management. But basically, we forgot. Well, not by we, I mean I. But we're a team, so we all forgot. The Britney Spears for our Women's History Month.
No, you forgot because we actually did that.
I had to slowly, very rapidly, had to
Well, I was real quick. You want to? Shout out the queen. She's a queen of pop.
Okay,
right?
Britney Spears is 39-year-old pop star sensation. She was met with controversy for leading a very body-positive image, and her career was met with downfall due to the normalization of misogynistic values and norms. Her image has been used to dismantle these foundations, and her experience is a token for everything wrong with modern consumption of young female celebrities. You can learn more about her in the Framing Britney Spears documentary on Hulu. And we should all be talking about her conservatorship, and not just hers, but also Amanda Bynes. So the woman deserves her freedom, and she deserves to be able to actually express all of the influences she's had with her platform. And we stand.
Oh, yes.
Even though she is rough on Instagram right now. But it's not her. Someone else is doing it, y'all. It's crazy.
Leave Britney alone.
He was right, and we failed him.
Honestly.
We failed him.
Oh, I had a question. Has anybody seen? I've been seeing some hype about I think it's a Demi Lovato YouTube documentary. I think, or was it Selena Gomez?
It's Demi Lovato.
Yeah, Demi Lovato. Has anybody watched that? I heard it's really intense.
Lovato.
Yeah.
It's her backstory.
Lovato.
Yeah, Demi Lovato.
So it's her backstory about
It's a documentary on YouTube that's supposed to be super intense.
With the overdose she had years ago.
Have y'all seen the Paris? This is Paris Hilton.
Oh, I haven't.
Y'all have to watch it. She talks about Turnabout Ranch, and it's basically where Dr. Phil sends those troubled teens.
Yeah, that's where he sent Bad Baby.
Bad Baby, yeah.
Yeah, and she just came out with her whole statement. Well, she went to the same thing. And she talks about it in that documentary, and it's insane. I already loved her, but now she looks more like a person.
I've met her.
So that's really cool. But yeah.
Interesting.
Love them both. They were all in a car with what was her fucking name? She's redheaded. She's also crazy. She's in Mean Girls. Lindsay Lohan. Britney Spears.
That's too much chaotic energy. I'm good.
That's me and all of my personalities.
Oh, that's you combined. Oh my god.
All right, but I'll check those out. I heard that those were good. I didn't hear about the Paris Hilton one, but I did hear about the Demi Lovato one.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot that's behind that story, and it goes back to the saying you really don't know people's story. So when things are off, you have no idea what that person's going through. So
what it really boiled down to was them literally just I think she would have been okay, and she would have been able to recover if paparazzi were able to draw a line. Like, she was literally sprinting from paparazzi and like crying. Like, you're taking people whose mental illness is already like at a cornerstone and like just pushing them closer and closer to the ledge. And then whenever they finally snap and break, you're like, what's going on? I remember them saying she was so crazy when she shaved her head.
Yeah.
And it's literally for the exact same reason why I shaved my head. I'm tired of people touching it and like telling me what to do with it. And I think that was such a like moment of clarity, and she was demonized for it. But our culture is moving in a direction that's like actually pushing for her and rooting for her. So we're here for you, Brittany.
I was gonna say, there was also that episode of Black Mirror with Miley Cyrus. Did y'all see that?
Yes.
I watched half of it.
I need to see that though.
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't Black Mirror, but that show is crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna start watching a little more of it. But
yeah, it's part of like the latest season. And the thing about Black Mirror is that honestly, you could really pick and choose what episode you start in. There's no like rhyme or reason. Yeah,
that's the only episode I watched.
Every episode has its own uniqueness in its own way.
Yeah, so definitely check that episode out. So we're gonna sign up for another week. That's episode 12. Please check out everyone's social media. Please check out the resources that we're gonna leave in the description. And of course, everyone have a great week. Drink more water. Wear your masks.
Shout out to Asian Queen Scarlett Johansson.
Get the fuck by.
With that, we're signing out for another week.